Hello, fellow aviators. VATSIM here, ready for this Friday night flight. I guess it's actually Saturday here in Kosrae, but we're here in Kosrae in Micronesia. Be heading over to Pohnpei today. The leg 4 of the United Virtual Airlines Island Hopper, simulating the United Airlines Island Hopper. This is the Freeware scenery for Kosrae Airport. I have a link to it in the description of this video. You should check it out. It's really a neat scenery. I'll take us down here. First officer here, just finishing up getting some snacks for a short hop over. And I'll show you here. Get our drone camera into the snack area here. We'll walk out to the aircraft. Alright, let's see. Yeah, here we go. See, look at this. That's pretty cool. Kosrae International Airport. And we'll walk out to the aircraft. Going really fast. I think it's really cool. Mysterious Paradise Island, home of the Sleeping Lady Mountain. But we're not going to be here much longer. And there we are. Let's go ahead and climb up into the flight deck and we will get underway. Weather today is looking it's marginal VFR here in Kosrae, and as we head over to Pohnpei, it looks like the weather's forecast to improve slightly. But gone ahead, gotten the aircraft all set up in here in the cockpit, so we're ready to get moving. I'll go ahead and brief up our flight, and if y'all have any questions, feel free to chime in on the chat, and love to hear from any of you as you come aboard. So like I said, today it's Kosrae to Pohnpei in Micronesia, and fuel plan, we're planning to have a gate fuel of 14,800 pounds. That's what we have on board. Min fuel for takeoff is going to be 14,231. So we'll check that before we get rolling for our takeoff. Our gross weight, our zero fuel weight was 107,349 with the takeoff weight of 121,580. So we burned 500 pounds approximately during our taxi out. So you can see we're at 122 there, which that's spot on. So perfect. Weather-wise, here in Kosrae, winds are variable at 3 knots, 10 miles visibility. You can see there are some rain showers in the area. If you were riding along with us yesterday when we came in, it was beautiful conditions. We shot an NDB approach. I kind of wish the weather would have been like this for that approach. It would have been a little more exciting, but we'll at least get to see the clouds just kind of covering the mountaintops here in Pohnpei. But altimeter is 2980. We have that set, and we're taking off to the east today. Out in Pohnpei, current weather is being forecast as stand by 1 second, I'm pulling it up here. Winds are 020 at 10 knots, 15 miles visibility, broken 1800, towering cumulus clouds, and 32 degrees for the temperature, 26 for the dew point, 284 on the altimeter. And forecast is for conditions to continue along those lines the rest of the way. No real NOTAMs that should affect us today in Flight Simulator. I am going to try to shoot the NDB Alpha there. In real life, the NDB is out of service, but it should still be working here in the flight sim. So we're going to shoot the NDB approach. That's a little more exciting than the RNAV GPS approach. Hopefully the weather will be nice and kind of marginal VFR or even IMC, so we can get an actual chance to practice that. But we'll see as we get closer. So NOTAMs are good for our taxi out. Let me go ahead and pull up our Navigraph charts here. It's going to be a really short taxi. The terminal ramp here is basically right next to, oops, I think we got this, yeah, there's Kosrae. Terminal ramp's right next to the end of runway 5 there, so as you can see, it's going to be a really short taxi. We'll actually be back taxiing a little bit down to the end of 5, and it's a relatively short runway, 5,751 feet, and we will actually be at flaps 5 today, so that's a threat. We usually take off at flaps 1, so just to make sure that we do get the correct flap setting. It'll be standard abort criteria, which means below 80 knots we'll abort for a variety of reasons. Above 80 knots only for an engine fire, severe engine damage, or the inability of the aircraft to get or stay airborne. And we'll plan to come back here unless it's something that has a serious requires us to have quite a bit more runway than we have here. If that's the case, Pohnpei has about 1,000 feet more runway, so we'll likely go down there, but we'll assess that on a needs basis. For our takeoff data, like we said, we pull it up here on the number 2 mech 2, the first officer's mech 2 over here. Get back to the FMC index takeoff. There we go. Flaps will be at 5. It is a DTO2 takeoff. We need at least 88.2% N1 set, and speeds are going to be 126, 127, 130, and we need to set 130 up here in the speed bucket for V2. That is now set, and trims at 5.28. That is set also. For our clearance, we're squawking 2,000, and it's just going to be as filed, which is off of runway 5. Just showing that there. Let me switch this over to plan mode. So 5, and then Kosrae, Axton, and the airport. Total distance in McDo is showing 304. And we were planned at a total distance of, standby, total distance was 332. So yeah, that's it's relatively close. When we throw the approach in, that'll actually add some more to that. So that looks good. Transition altitude today is going to be 5,500 feet. Have that set. And the only terrain we have the mountains just to the south of our runway and course. So like I said, we'll plan to go straight out or make left-hand turns out over the ocean. If we lose an engine, we need to stay away from the terrain, because obviously they are obscured by, the mountains are obscured by clouds. ACARS is initialized and started, and that's the end of our briefing. Unless anyone on the chat has anything else to add, I'll go ahead and begin our checklist. Only other thing to note is we are going to be doing class 2 nav ops again, so everything's checked out with our navigation equipment. We'll be out over the ocean again for this 300 plus mile flight. Alright, pre-flight check, interior and exterior inspections complete. Circuit breakers are checked, nav and displays, switches are norm and auto. Passenger signs on, window heat on, engine bleed switches on, pressurization panel is set, pressurization mode selector auto, mode control panel set, oxygen mask. Actually, I'm going to turn on the terrain really quickly just so we have that, and make sure we have traffic rings. There we go. Oxygen masks checked, altimeter 2980 cross-checked, flight and nav instruments checked, warning and annunciator lights checked, speed brake down, takeoff warning checked, engine start levers cut off, stab and trim cutout switches normal, and fire warning checked. You probably heard that a little bit during the intro. I was just finishing up a few of the checks here. Radios and transponders are set. Radar off, rudder and aileron trim is free and 0. Parking brake set. Windows closed, locked. Flight attendant briefing complete. Departure briefing complete. Logbook secure H's. Here on board, let me check the failures really quickly. Yep, nothing's active. That's good. And fuel required. We have 14.8 on board, and 14.8 is what we were planning. So the pre-flight check is complete. Let's go ahead and get electrical power over onto the APU, which we've started up. It's warmed up now. There we go. And I'm also going to switch the bleeds over once we get the external air disconnected. Ground power release, air conditioning unit released. And let's go ahead and release the stairs. I think we're all done with our boarding. Here comes the little tug to pull everything away. I think he's gonna pull the air unit away. Let's see if we can see it from the back at all. It's so much quieter back here. You don't have those cooling fans. Oh yeah, there he goes. Door is closed now. That's good. Stairs are away. Air unit is disconnected. Let's go ahead and make sure we've got get the packs on, keep the airflow going. Looks like the left and right overwings are showing open. That is something that happens. It should go away pretty soon. You can see we do have the left and right overwings are showing closed on this. And also, you can see they are closed looking at it from in the cabin too. That's something that just, it happens sometimes on this. Here we go, that's better. There's our exit. You can see it is definitely closed on the right side and on the left side, so it should go away, and we'll make sure we're pressurizing. Alright, let's do the pushback check, please. And flight deck door is closed and locked. Perfect. Pushback check doors are closed and noted. Hydraulic panel set, fuel panel set, flight deck door closed, lock, transponder, pushback check complete. Let's see. I think we are going to get a. We're just going to turn out from this point. So I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and get the engines going here. Alright, start 2, then 1. Here we go. Brake pressure is up, so we'll go ahead and get them to disconnect the shocks before we get these engines rolling here. Don't want to suck anybody up in there. Alright, shocks are removed. Alright, start 2, then 1. Then 2. Oil pressure, then 1. EGT. Alright, just watching for these abnormal engine starts too. You don't want to get any of those. There's our fuel flow and our light up. If we did have one, we'd just go ahead and take this like a hot start or something. That start lever to cut off, and then we'd run the engine abnormality curation procedure, depending on what had happened. Likely be motoring the engine for 60 seconds if something like that happened, but just Still haven't had it happen yet on the PMDG, but I guess it could happen anytime because they do have random failures on. Random problems. Okay, we have a good start there. Let's go ahead and start 1. And 2. Oil pressure. And 1. EGT. Just wait on that N2 stagnation to occur. Wow, the clouds really have settled in now. This will be a great day for that NDB approach back into here. Alright. Here comes our fuel flow. Light up. Lights are out there. The spur valve and all that. Fuel spur valve. Back. Engines are definitely running. A little aircraft popped up behind us in Korean Air. Interesting. Alright, it started to cut out. I heard the switch click back and EGT's rolling down. So let's do the after start. Flow, please. Generators, engine generators are looking good. Switch that over. Bleed swapped over. Alright, flaps 5, please. Assuming the wings, everything are clear. Got the tug out of the way, that's good. So I'm just going to go ahead and get all this set before we get moving, just so we don't forget. Give the engines a chance to warm up. We also need to make sure that we do see an increase in the oil temperature, which right now they're showing 76 and 91, so it should be higher than that as we get to the runway. And flaps 5, here it comes. Watch your knees, check the controls, and after start check. Generators on, propheat on, anti-ice, standard air conditioning, set, recall, checked auto brakes, RTO. So that caution is coming on for the left and right overwing exit. That's already been noted. I've started check complete. Taxi, flaps, 5. Check the handle position, 5. 5 and green. Takeoff speeds 126, 127, 130. Set thrust DTO2 plus 32. Stab trim 5.38. And flight controls checked. Taxi check complete. And I'm going to go ahead and give us our navigation briefing here before we get going, since it's a really short taxi. They're still doing some of their checks in the back. So we're planning to take off runway 5 out of Kosrae. And initially it's going to be runway heading at 048. And once we get to our pattern altitude, we'll make left traffic out and intercept the course to Axton. So we'll go ahead, once we get on that course, we'll go heading mode at 400 feet, and then roll back around to the left, LNAV. VNAV will get going at 1,000 feet, and we'll accelerate. And our flap speeds are, flap 5 is 157, flap 1, 177, and cleans at 197. So we'll retract on the schedule above our flap retraction altitude. And standard abort criteria going up to flight level 380 all the way up to our cruise altitude today. Nothing else to add. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and turn. I'll make our call on the radio. Let me make sure my V pilot is on. I actually don't think I turned it on. So let me get that. Forgot to turn V pilot on. It's kind of funny. So I'll let it load up here really quickly. Alright, looks like we're on now. That's good. You just double check, make sure that I don't see any traffic. Don't see any controllers anywhere. It'd be awesome if there was a controller on, but yeah, I don't think we will have any. Yep, nobody's on in this area. So we're on our own. We are on our own. Alright, here we go. Kosrae traffic, United 1956 Boeing 737 taxiing from the terminal to runway 5. Kosrae. Alright, here we go. Definitely don't want to use a lot of thrust here because we have a lot of loose equipment, picnic tables, benches, other things behind us as we turn. You can see it's pretty tight quarters. Look at all that stuff. So I'm just going to use the minimum amount of thrust needed. See, we're creeping right now, but that's alright. Yeah, jet blast damage is a very real thing, and you don't even know you're doing it in the cockpit. Like, you really do have to be careful. And in the past, I worked on the ramp for about 1.5 years in Atlanta, and let me tell you, there was one time I caught some jet blast from a 767, and I really did think that I was gonna take a pretty good tumble and blow across the ramp. Like I barely got myself on my feet. So I mean, it can be serious. I've also I've known people that have guys I've flown with that have accidentally crumpled jet bridges up with just CRJ jet blast, and so these engines obviously put out quite a bit more thrust than those CRJ engines, the CF34s. But all right, here we are. This is runway 5. We're making a left turn here onto the runway as we looked at here on our Navigraph chart. I think it's gonna make us open it up again, isn't it? Yep. Just creeping along at minimum thrust. Yep, there we are. Kosrae traffic, United 1956, back taxiing runway 5, Kosrae. Alright, it's clear to the left, don't see anybody in here. Clear to the right, don't hear anybody on the radio. There we go, we got our HUD down. Get that sharpened up just a smidge. Let's go ahead and do the before takeoff check. Let's get the flow going. We're clear for takeoff, so the strobe's on for sure as we're getting here onto the runway, and transponder to TARA. Still have the left and right overwing exit. We'll let the flight attendants prepare the cap for departure. It looks like they do say they're ready for departure on there. Alright, before takeoff check, runway position is 5. I've verified. Flaps 5 green. Navigation briefing complete. Takeoff warning. I need to check that really quickly. Alright, that's checked. Auto throttle armed. Engine start switch is continuous. Transponder TARA, and flight attendants notified and acknowledged. Before takeoff check complete. You know, if we do come back to land here, I'm more than likely going to shoot that NDB approach. I'm really sad we didn't get to do that yesterday with the weather cooperating. It would be a lot of fun today. If y'all remember, we came in on that offset angle. I could see if you're right down to minimums, it could be a little bit disorienting. So it'd be fun. Alright, we're just gonna make our turnaround here coming up in just a minute. Here we go. Get the tiller wheel going. And we'll make our turnaround and I just need to, I'm going to double check our takeoff data just to make sure we didn't have a static takeoff before we get rolling. I'm pretty sure it was rolling, but if we do need to stay static, then something I would not want to miss. So I'll switch over to Top Cat really quickly. That's just the only thing I'm thinking of here, that this is a relatively short runway for a 737. Alright, runway 5 is verified. There's our 049, 048 headings. So that's all good. Elevations all match up. Alright, let me check the Top Cat one last second. Yeah, it's not a static takeoff, so yeah, we can get rolling. Here we go. Kosrae traffic United 1956 is rolling runway 5. Will be departing the pattern to the west. Kosrae. Alright, set thrust and toga. Thing is always slightly left of center line. It's probably something they're gonna fix. Check, throttle hold, thrust normal.
Positive rate of climb.
You're up. Alright, there's 1,000 feet. Let's go ahead and go to heading mode. Now let's go ahead and start turning back around. I'm going to keep us and VNAV. Might get a little bumpy here through the clouds. I do like that HUD definitely helps. It's a little more precise. Trying to get the dots to all line up there. Oh yeah, that NDB approach into Kosrae would be very cool today. Alright, let's go flaps 2. Flaps 1. Flaps up. After takeoff check. I'll leave the continuous ignition on, get the APU off. You can see the door lights did go out for the overwing exits. That's good. Looks like we're on a pretty good path right now to stay between these towering cumulus. I'm gonna maybe cheat just slightly to the right here to get through this. Keep the bumps at a minimum. Alright, we've gone through, there's 5,500, so standard on the altimeters now. Yeah, let's bring the HUD up. Alright, after takeoff check, flaps up, landing gear up and off. packs, auto, pressurization, it's all normal. Engine bleeds on, pressurization normal, let's check start switches, we're gonna leave them on for now, on continuous, and APU off after takeoff check complete. Just 10,000, give them the bells in the back. We'll have to see if we're gonna be above this cell right out in front of us. If not, I can maybe, I think I'm actually gonna cheat to the right just a little bit, just to make sure we miss it, and then we'll get back on course. Also gonna keep us climbing at 250 for now until we get up above all the storms out here. Then we'll accelerate. Just want to try to keep the ride as smooth as possible for our passengers in the back. Take a look in the back really quickly. That's a really cool view. Yeah, looks like maybe we would have been able to just top that cell. But it's incredible how quickly towering cumulus clouds can rise. Like a lot of times they can out climb a jet aircraft pretty easily. So alright, I'm gonna take us back over onto our course here. Be a little more aggressive about getting us back on course. And obviously we don't have any air traffic control to be communicating with, so. Alright, we'll go back to the VNAV managed speed, which is the VNAV speed, which is going to be accelerating us up to 313 knots. Just fly 180, let's go ahead and get our lights all into the cruise configuration here. Try to get our distance out so that we can see our next fix. There we go. Just wanted to check on that really quickly. You know what? Yep, LNAV got disarmed. I was like, that doesn't look right. You always gotta keep cross-checking. Yeah, I need to turn the autopilot on. We get any RVSM type. I'm not even sure exactly what the airspace protocol is out in this part of the world over the ocean, but I need to do a little research on that. I know, like in the United States, typically a lot of airlines don't want you hand flying above, or once you're up in the flight levels, because autopilot is generally going to do a much better job of keeping your separation from other aircraft in the reduced vertical separation minima airspace up in the upper flight levels. Alright, there we go. LNAV is armed again and captured, so it looks like we're going direct to on our course to Axton now, which is good. Alright, I'm going to go look at the exterior of the aircraft, so watch your ears, or turn your volume down a little bit if you need to. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to be, but here we go. beautiful, beautiful day out here. All right, I'll hop back inside it. So Accident's actually, it's only 30 miles out from the airport, so that's actually going to be a really good spot for us to reach our 10,000 feet at 250 knots. So that's nice. That'll be good for our descent planning purposes. I believe we're gonna get to see, we might get to see some atolls on our way over here to Pohnpei. Should be a few along the way. You get a little bit of music playing in the background, and just kind of help keep the environment cool for us. Alright. It looks like my first officer got his range really far down. There we go, cool. Yeah, so for top of climb, our fuel planning for top of climb, let me see what we were planning on our flight release. 7,200 pounds. Actually, no, that's wrong. That's going back to the alternate. I was like, that seems way too low. 10,976, so approximately 11,000 pounds. So see, that's looking a lot more realistic there. Looks like we've already used about 2,800 pounds of fuel on our departure and climb up to flight level 250. We still have 13,000 more feet to climb. Get us back to flight tech. Let's check out the first officer's view really quickly. Looks, wow, remarkably the same, right? Just the ocean. There are gonna be some atolls coming up off our right side here in the next few miles, so it might be worth shifting our view over here for a little bit. There's our jump seat back here. We'll say some of the 737s, they do have a second jump seat right here behind the captain's seat, and it is a tight jump seat. Pretty much all of them will have this jump seat right here. So you can see, you can press the red tab, hold it down, and then, yep, it locks up there. Go back in the captain's seat, we can see it a little bit better. And actually blocks the door pretty well. So yeah, that's how the 737-700 jump seat looks once you get it out. And back here in the, there's oxygen mask for the jump seat rider right back here. Headset to listen in. And as a jump seat rider, you are part of the flight crew. So you'll be listening up. Say, captains will usually brief you and tell you, hey, if you see anything, it's kind of out of place, say something. And that's the way I treat each of you as you're riding along here on the stream. If you see something that looks funny, please speak up in the chat, because more than likely I have missed it. So I appreciate your help as a fellow aviator here. All right, I'm actually gonna steer the jump seat again. Just wanted to check that out. There we go, there's the red tab, and it's back in. I will say, I think the most difficult jump seat that I've had to try to figure out on my own in real life is probably the Mad Dog, the MD-80. One time, riding jump seat in a Mad Dog, the captain, he joked, it was an American Airlines MD-80, and he said, hey, this is your interview to get on an American. He's like, if you can figure that seat out without me telling you anything, then you got the job. So he was joking because he knew, and nobody can figure that out. Or I guess some people probably could. I couldn't figure it out on my own. So then he helped show me. But yeah, bringing the jump seats out, a lot of times it's a little bit of a puzzle. And as long as everybody has a good attitude up there, it's kind of funny to, you know, see if you can figure it out on your own if you have the time to do that. With the captain, first officer watching, you just kind of laughing. But I feel like a lot of times though, if you're riding jump seat, like commuting to work or anything, it's usually because the back of the aircraft is completely full. So there's not going to be a lot of time. They're going to want to get you in there, get you settled, get your bags stowed away, get you briefed, make sure you got about the oxygen mask and all the emergency procedures, and you're ready to go. You can see our green banana bar here. It's showing now our top of climb. Looks like we're going to be reaching level 380, a little bit past what was calculated as our top of climb. We're not going to be up at altitude very long at all. Look at that short little window there between top of climb, top of descent. So I actually might start working ahead a little bit on the climb to get our performance numbers, because this is not really that long of a flight. So actually I'm going to be going into Top Cat as we continue this climb to go ahead and get our numbers for Pohnpei. And right now, weather in Pohnpei, oh, perfect. That's what I like to see. Winds 020 at 10, so they're landing to the east. 15-mile visibility, it's pretty good. Broken clouds, 1,800 feet, and towering cumulus. Temperature is 32, dew point is 26, and altimeter is 2984. Remark, towering cumulus northeast, southeast. So, sounds good. Alright, so it'll be runway 9. And we'll go ahead and compute it. It's crunching the numbers. Alright, excellent. So going into Pohnpei, our flaps 30, VREF is going to be 126, and V approach is 134. Plan landing weight of 116.3, that matches up what we were planning on our release. And landing distance, let's see, we're gonna do auto 3. We have 6,600 feet of runway available. Auto 3 is going to give us, requires 4,977 feet, so 5,000 feet basically. So we'll just do auto 3 again to give us a little bit of a buffer in case we do float a little bit or something. My first time flying into this airport. Auto 2 is at 6270. So yeah, I'd appreciate a little more of a buffer. So we'll go ahead and send in auto 3. going to go ahead and punch in our, let's see here. Approach numbers is flap is 30. VREF is 126. And +8 for our wind correction. Alright, cool. And once we get up at altitude, I'll go ahead and start briefing the NDB Alpha approach into Pohnpei. Definitely quite a few more clouds today, which is good. I actually want this to be a little bit more of a challenge than yesterday's approach. And this one, as you will see when we brief in just a minute, is already much more of a challenge just by its nature, by itself. So really looking forward to it. I think I am going to go ahead and set in our fixes for descent planning purposes. So PTPN is the airport. So 30 out, like we said, that's going to be really close to Axton. That's where we want to be at 10,000 feet, 250 knots. And from flyable 380 down to 10,000 feet, that is 28,000 feet. Multiply that by 3, and we would get, what, 84 miles? Add 5 to it, 6. I'm just going to say, we'll do 5 out. So 89 out, that's where we want to begin our descent. So you can see it's really close to that top of descent that's being calculated by the flight management computer. So really cool. But we'll have those rings as a visual indicator, just another way to help us hopefully catch any mistakes or remember to get down. Let's check our pressurization again, make sure everything's looking good here. Cabin is still climbing. Looks like our differential pressure is starting to get into the red a little bit. But it's still within limits. Hop into the back for just a second. See how it's looking back here. It's looking good. Should be having one of those atolls coming up soon. I thought I saw it for a second, but it's just a little blip in the window. Alright, there's flight level 370 for flyable 380. Yeah, we do. There should be an atoll just behind us. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Let's see if we can see it all from this. Oops, I don't want to go outside the line there. Try to. Oh, there we go. We're really craning our neck. We can see it. See in the. Okay, cool. Alright, here we come at flight 380 and VNAV path is armed, FMC speed, good, we're leveling off, perfect. Showing 10,500 pounds of fuel at our top of climb. And like we were saying, at top of climb we were planning 10,976, but I think it was planning on us reaching this 214 out from Pohnpei, and you can see we're within 160 miles now, so that would account for that much lower fuel number. So not concerned about that at all. We're right on track. Still showing reaching Axton at 9,800 pounds of fuel. We were planning Axton at 9.6, so like we're about 200 pounds ahead of schedule, which is good. We'll take that. Let's go ahead and start briefing up the NDB Alpha approach into Pohnpei. They do have some RNAV approaches available, but I just want to practice some NDB approaches while they still exist here in the world. They're slowly disappearing. And I mean, hey, in real life, yeah, I'd rather do an RNAV approach for sure, but it's fun to practice the NDB approaches. Alright, so here's the NDB Alpha. I'll go ahead and pull up the airport diagram so we can go ahead and brief all of that too. So I'll go ahead and get our radios, everything set up for this. So ADF1, VR2, because we're going to have a DME off of Pohnpei there. So NDB, Pohnpei NDB is 366. Let's go ahead and get that set down here. .366. Switch that into active. Perfect. Get that to where we can listen to it. So put up now. We'll get that when we get closer. And then 111.0. We're gonna set that in our number 2 radio, so we get some DME off of that. Yeah, it's showing we're 130 miles out right now. So that'll give us our DME for this procedure. And it looks like our minimums, we'll get this set right now, 960. We need 3 miles visibility. We had 15 last time they had a weather report. I'll see if we can get a more recent report before we go down in there. Let's go ahead and set 960. And that's actually like, what, 1,000 foot ceiling? Because that's 951 feet above the ground. So we had our ceilings at 1,800 feet in the last report. And I'm actually going to add 50 feet to that because we'll do a constant angle descent down at 800 feet per minute. So 960 plus 50, that's going to be 1010. There we go. 1010 is set in the for barrel minimums. And this is gonna be a cool approach, as you'll see as we brief it here. I glanced at the plate a little earlier. I've never flown this, so I'm flying it for the first time live on the stream. So it should be fun. All right, so this is Pohnpei International. First off, landing data is set. Let me check the latest weather before we brief. I'll pull it up on my app here. It's the Aero Weather app. Highly recommend it for any of you that like. I used to use it. Real world aviation, it works great for Flight Simulator too. Yeah, so the Pohnpei weather that we were looking at, it's old. I mean, it's 157 minutes old, so there's no telling what exactly we're gonna see when we get down there. But 2984 is the altimeter. I'll have that standing by for when we get down to our transition altitude of 5,500 feet again. All right, so this is Pohnpei International, 4th October 1916-1, NDB Alpha. NDB frequency is 361. That's, or I'm sorry, 366. That's active. And final approach course is going to be 252. I'm going to get that set here in our course windows. There we go, 252. Minimum altitude at Wimmera is going to be 1,700 feet. I don't believe this is in let's see if it's in here. Oh, it is. NDB Alpha, runway 9. Well, let me put that in then. Yeah, we're going to enter at trad, so we don't have to do that. Alright, Axton, we're going to Eric Axton, Pohnpei, then we have Trad at or above 3,000 feet, Weimar at or above 1,700 feet, and missed approach point is at IC job 2.5 DME from the NDB. Let's make sure that's in here. There it is. And it has the MDA there, 960 feet, and the runway 9. So for the hold, it's a climbing right turn at 3,000 on a 120 heading, and on the Pohnpei NDB bearing 072 to trad and hold. And there's the hold at trad, and yeah, it's 252 inbound right hand turns. That all looks good. MSA is 3,800 around Pohnpei. This is a mountainous island again, so you can see 2,553 feet. That's where the mountain is. Looks like they're starting to serve snacks and drinks in the back. They're not going to have very long to get that done. We're going to begin our descent very, very shortly. So, anyways. So we're going to be coming in trad. We're already in this direction. So we need to cross trad at 3,000 feet. And really we need to be 180 knots there. So we'll make sure, definitely want to make sure we're down at Axton. I'm going to go ahead and set 10,000 feet in. And I bet you we'll be starting our descent very shortly. I'm going to go ahead and start us now. Vertical speed mode. Ground speed's at 463. Multiply that by 5. That's 2,300 feet per minute. Here we go. Try to kind of let that momentum get going, and then we'll keep rolling it into 2,300 feet per minute. There we go. 2,300. Alright, perfect. So we'll be straight in trad, Weimar, big job, and then we're actually going to be landing going the other direction. So let's check out these notes. DME is required, procedure not authorized at night, except prior arrangement. That does not affect us today. Obtain local altimeter setting, we have that. Ships with maximum height of 150 MSL may traverse Pohnpei channel 400 feet off approach end of runway 9, which is where we're going. So we'll check that out. Closing airport at times. Oh, that's interesting. No controlled airspace below 5,500. Pod control line 123.6. Alright, that's cool. So we'll plan to make left traffic. We'll kind of enter a left downwinds for runway 9, and then just a standard pattern back around with that base and final leg into the runway there. I am going to put a 5-mile ring around the airport just to kind of help with situational awareness. There we go. And like we said, we do already have the MDA set for our Class C at 960 plus 50. It's 1010. And 800 feet per minute is planned descent. If we land, we get to land, it's gonna be, we're gonna keep going all the way down the runway. Turn around at the end, back taxi runway 9, and back down into the terminal. Looks like it's, there's a rail, PAPI on the left side, 3 degrees. Let's go ahead and set up our HUD, just in case we want to use it. Roll elevation is gonna be 9. Let's see here, it's at 9, and distance is 6,600. Let's get over to, there we go. Alright, cool. It's all set. We'll increase our rate of descent just a bit. Looks like we're not going down quite fast enough. Just keep our speed at about change it over from speed at 280. Level change. Looks like we just need to get down, get some flight spoilers out. Alright. Cool. I'll just leave this down there. We can pull it up if we need it. I think we're making out Pohnpei out there in the distance. Looks like it's actually going to be pretty decent weather. A few little towering cumulus out in the area as we already were aware of. Got the seatbelts are still on. I never turned them off. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the. Oh, I never turned off the continuous ignition. Well, we'll leave it on at this point. Go ahead and take a sip of my drink before we get too much closer. Take a look outside the aircraft too. Here we go. I made a mistake on my calculation for the descent. It's supposed to be 80 out from that 30, so I should have added 30. You can see now we're having to scramble to get down. But we'll get it. Let's keep our vertical speed here. I'm going to go ahead and start slowing us back to 250. Slow down, then we can go down. After accident, we're going to go direct to trad. Execute that. Perfect. And we need to turn off the autopilot. Turn that back on. Slow us to 240 now. Start getting some drag out soon. Yep, there's the island. Looks like it's going to be visual conditions today, which is nice. So I guess, yeah, we're not going to get to do a really good, here we are returning direct to trad now. So we go down to 3,000 feet. set. Let's go flaps 1. Flaps 2. Flaps 5. Slow down and go down. Here we go. Actually, I go ahead and do flaps 10 here in just a minute. Alright, flaps 10. Alright, we need to do the descent check. Altimeters are standard for now. It's going to be 298, get that standard by 284 at 5,500. Minimum Sparrow 1010, cross-checked. Landing data is 3126. Push reef and complete auto brakes 3. Seatbelt signs on, pressurization panel is checked, looks good. And recall checked. Descent check complete. And we'll go ahead and switch this over here to. So we have our DME for Pohnpei VOR right, or Pohnpei right there at 17.9, and then we can see we have the ADF one. It's identified Papa November India, and we have our bearing pointer and everything right there. So we'll just keep going direct to. This approach, since it's in the FMS, like in the MEC2, we can actually kind of have LNAV following it and just monitor the raw data here. So it's a lot nicer than the one we had yesterday in Kosrae. That one was not in the database, so you really couldn't do anything with the LNAV for it. Alright, we're clear for the approach. Let me go ahead and make a call on the radio here. How far out are we? Let's pull this down so we have a better idea. We're about, what, 10 miles out. Pohnpei traffic, 1956.737, 10 miles to the east, inbound on the NDB Alpha. We'll be planning left traffic for runway 9er, Pohnpei. Alright, cool. We're below 10,000 feet now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the music. Sterile flight deck. Good with that. There's the airport. We have it in sight. Yeah, go figure. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set in 1,700. Alright, airport is in sight. That's good. Beautiful island. Looks like the clouds are a little bit more developed off to the west. but it's clear right here over this part of the island, basically. Alright, so we're trad inbounds, we're way above the planned path, which is fine. I'm actually going to break off here, and we'll go ahead and just fly the pattern. Alright. And Pohnpei traffic United 1956, left downwind, runway 9, Pohnpei. We do have a tailwind, so we're going pretty fast. And we're going to need to go ahead and start slowing back. I'm going to slow us back to 180 knots now. Yeah, I do wonder if Asobo is going to do a world update and include Micronesia in there. That'd be really cool. You can see this is kind of bare bones on the land photography and all of that, but the satellite imagery, but still pretty cool. Right, there's the airport and the runway. Try to get us a little more distance out here. I'm gonna switch this back to the. Oh wow, that's cool. Alright, we'll take us down to 1,500 feet for our pattern altitude and vertical speed. I'm actually gonna slow our descent 700 feet per minute now. And we're just doing a standard traffic pattern here into Pohnpei. There's a pretty good size hill just to the south of the approach course there for runway 9, so that'll be interesting. And it's VMC, so it's be a VMC mode here for the approach on the HUD. And 2984 is set on the altimeters. Alright, let's go ahead and gear down. Slow to 160. Looks like there was a little bit of a weather change. Looks like there's now some weather building up. Clouds building up in the area. Go ahead and turn our base leg. Let's go flaps 15. So 1,500 feet at 5 miles out from the airport, that's about where we would begin our 3-degree descent path. So that's one of the reasons I've set that there. That's kind of what I'm planning for our final. Alright, here we come back on final. What a beautiful approach. I'm actually going to hand fly it from here, so autopilot's coming off. Definitely feel the nose up pitch moment as the engines increase thrust here with these underwing aircraft like the 737. Let's go ahead and slow back to our approach speed, which is going to be 134. So I'll set that in for the auto throttles here. And we definitely don't want to get let's go flaps 20. And flaps 30. Overshot that a little bit. Let's be kind of aggressive in getting back over there, especially with the terrain the way it is. Alright, and landing check. Landing gear is down. Flaps 30 green.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Right in sight. Speed brake arm, engine start switches continuous. Landing check complete. Yeah, you can see, look how close we are to this mountain. That's crazy.
500.
Alright, we're looking good, we're stable.
400.
And misapproach is going to be just visual at this point, so misapproach altitude is set.
300.
Reducing vertical speed, we're 1 knot low. There we go.
200.
Alright, right back on path with our and auto throttle's coming off.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
And spoilers down. Spoilers are up. Yep. There's 80 knots. And I disarmed the auto brakes. Alright, we are down. What a beautiful place this is. Wow. Go ahead and pull up the HUD. So it's a little better, and you get over on the tiller wheel so I can get the turn authority that we'll need. Wow, look at this. I bet you this looks absolutely stunning in real life. Because it looks pretty cool in the simulator. And Pohnpei traffic, United 1956, back taxi runway 9 or Pohnpei. Alright, let's do a fairly rapid back taxi. Just because you don't want to spend a lot of time on an active runway. You don't have to. Go ahead and get the speed brakes down. Raise the flaps too. Just don't want to be taxiing around with all this stuff hanging out. Sure got our lights looking good. All right. Here comes our turn off for the ramp. I accidentally closed the window. I did not mean to do that. Oh well. I'll have to pull up the airport diagram again. It's a pretty tight turn in to the ramp. Yep, see here, whoops, sorry. Here we are, turning in. Actually, hold up. I think that's like the general aviation hangar. I was gonna say that looks really, really tight. We'll keep going down here to the next turnoff up ahead. So this is my first time at this airport, so. Yep, there's the terminal. Perfect. Alright, a little bit over clear of the runway now. Pohnpei traffic 1956, clear runway 900, taxi to the terminal. Pohnpei. Alright, after landing. Any marshalers out? Looks like we have some marshalers. I'll go over here. Alright, so our after land check engine start switches are off. Flaps up. Speed brake is down and radar off. After land check complete. Alright, I'm just gonna manually park us here. Not gonna have any guidance, it looks like. That's fine. So we'll probably get a pushback when we do leave Pohnpei. I'll plan to do the next leg more than likely tomorrow, but it might be Sunday night also. We will see. Alright, here we go. Stop. Alright, parking brakes set. Let's go ahead and get our check the APU generator. Looks like the voltage frequencies are good. 115 and 400 hertz. Switch over. Switch your bleeds over. Let's shut down 2. Shut down 1. And go through everything else. We need to get our chocks in really quickly. Ground services, wheel chocks are set. Alright, excellent. Get the ground power connected. And collision light off. We'll go ahead and get the seat belts off. And transponder can go on to standby now. Not gonna be continuing to go ahead and turn off the IRS. Alright, shutdown check, parking brake set, fuel pump switches, left half on for APU, seatbelt signs off, window heat off, probe heat off, anti-ice off, electrical, hydraulic pumps, turn those off now that we have the chocks in, they're off. Air conditioning panels set, anti-collision light off, engine start levers cut off, transponder standby. Shutdown check is complete. Let's go ahead and unlock the door. Perfect. And there we go. I doubt they got to serve everyone in the back of the aircraft that was wanting to get their snacks. So, bet that did not make everyone super happy either. Let's see here. Well, I think that's pretty much it here for our flight to Pohnpei. Passengers are now deplaning. I just need to, we should get the stairs, get the baggage, get a bus too. Why not? That'll be fun, right? There we go. Goal, we're gonna get everything, all of our bags down to 0. So as soon as they all get there, we'll go ahead and get started on that. See the trucks starting to arrive. We'll get the aircraft door open. Alright, I think it should auto open for us, which would be really cool. But yeah, we'll see. There it goes. Awesome. Now the passengers can get off. Alright. Got the baggage carts. Looks like they're having some issues with maybe the engine. It thinks like the engine's catching some of the wind. It's still rotating a little bit. The fan keeps showing engine inhibit over and over and over again. Huh. That's weird. I'll try to get that started as soon as I can. Oh, there we go. Look at that fancy bus to pick up our passengers. PMDG passenger services. Let's see if it's still okay, there comes the tug with the baggage carts for us. So I'm just waiting to get that started. There's the other tug bringing a couple baggage carts for our passengers. You know, I think we should get, yeah, let's unload our passengers in both the front and the back. Why not? So stairs on 2 left. Yeah, let's get stairs back there too. And we want 0 passengers left, so we'll go ahead and start them getting out. I request some cabin cleaning. Forward and aft galley. We'll get the lavatory dump. We're gonna do everything. I'm also gonna request the maintenance van because we are getting kind of low on oil. And see, oil quantities at 80% on the number 1 engine, 87 on the number 2. Hydraulic quantities, it's getting a little low. Oil's definitely getting low. So we'll go ahead and get that fixed before our next leg. Here comes a maintenance van. It's driving through the building. Incredible. Alright, let's see if it'll let us get those baggage carts going yet. Forward. Ah, here we go. Perfect. Alright, well we got everything rolling now. Got the passengers getting off. We've got the bags coming off the aircraft now. So, that's basically it for our flight today. Thank you all for joining. This was leg 4 of that United Island Hopper series. So likely tomorrow night or tomorrow or maybe in 2 evenings, I'll continue with the next leg. But appreciate all of you joining in live, or if you watch it later, I appreciate you doing that also. Look forward to seeing you again on a future flight. As always, let me know if you have any comments. Keep on flying. Enjoy the friendly skies. Look forward to seeing you out here again soon. VREV Simmer signing off. Have a great morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you might be watching in the world. Good day.